Hey there, melanated midlifers. Welcome to another episode where we are diving in to some career advice. In the guest chair this week, we are welcoming someone that I affectionately call the business doctor. Melissa Ambers is here to give us a little bit of tough love about all of the digital skills that we need to stay sharp with if we're going to be relevant and competitive in an ever changing job market. And she is definitely going to give us all the deets that we need to be aware of when it comes to AI and other emerging technologies. So if you want to dive in and figure out what it is that's going to give you that edge against the competition, you're in for a treat. Let's tune in to the Melanated Midlife Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Melanated Midlife Podcast, where we are in for a real treat. The true doctor of business is here to teach us all a few things. And I will say that I know Melissa Ambers from way back. We are from the same hood, same schools and everything, but there are times when you just have to watch and learn and see all the good things that all the women around you are doing. And it was just truly an honor that you agreed to come on the podcast with us today.
Oh, wow. Thank you for having me.
Hey, that's all right. Now, I'm saying just plain old Melissa, but she is the CEO of Savvy Media Group and the multi-book author. We are saying that 8 books, including this one that I'm holding right here, Beyond Business as Usual. This you said 8, but you actually lost count because you said there's some workbooks in there
It's mixed
and
in
other
an
stuff.
8.
So
It's mixed in 8.
we gonna say she is the author of God knows how many books.
It's 8.
Yes, and
Okay.
she is here to bestow a little bit of knowledge on the 50 plus crowd that is probably needing some coaching into the digital era. And even though you've got plenty of things that you're going to teach us. I mean, there's a lot of stops and starts in there that we could probably learn lessons from. So, I welcome.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I did all the things, typical Black folks where I'm sitting up. Oh, we from the same hood, and everything. But let me be business for a second.
But
And
that's the reality of it. That is our reality.
it is. It is. Why don't you let everybody know a little bit about your background and who it is that you serve, what you're doing now?
Well, right now, I serve a lot of small businesses, and I just have this thing. I'm not going to say passion or anything like that, but this thing about if I see where it can be better, I want to see how I can help make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have to put ourselves out there, looking the best,
Yeah.
whatever the best is for you, and not just to say, hey, I have a business, or hey, I have a podcast, or whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
represent it in the right way.
Right.
And it's not hard. It's not as expensive as so many people think, but so many people are just obsessed with the term of entrepreneurship. And it's not easy. It doesn't come as quick as so many people think. I can't even count the many times that I've rebranded
Mm-hmm.
because not only as I evolved and learned different things and mentors that I've had, all of these different things to where that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not a good look. So, yes, I've rebranded multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's okay to do that because so many people get stuck in that, oh, well, this is what I started out as, or I like this, or this is my favorite, and, all of those type of things. But do it really speak to what you do or doing? Um, and how are you going to uh, cross over into getting that client
Mm-hmm.
that you want? So it's really it, it's easier said than done of accepting what that is, because even with me, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but there was a mentor that I had, and she was a no joke type of person. And, some of the things that we would go through, I was helping her with some things. And sometimes she would just talk to me and tell me about certain things. And one time we just had this talk, and she was just telling me, well, why are you doing this? You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And how she was talking to me, I got in my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. I got in my feelings. Like, no, she didn't.
Mm-hmm,
Right?
mm-hmm.
But as time passed, it was like, oh,
You started to see it?
I get it.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But at that moment, like, who you talking to? You ain't talking to me,
Little,
right?
little, little, little tough love, and you wasn't
Yeah.
feeling the love.
I wasn't feeling it at that moment. I was not. And we have to sit in that sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I know, again, easier said than done. And in the moments, we're like, hold up, whoa, back up. Who you talking to? What you
Mm-hmm.
trying to say? But we have to be open to that tough love and that critique, that criticism, or whatever you want to call it, because that's part of growth.
Okay, now tell me this. Now you are working with small businesses, and what percentage of your client base is our age or older?
Um, 6%, 5%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your take on that? Why?
Digital.
We're afraid of the
We're
digital?
afraid of digital. We're afraid because we want to go back to how it used to be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get some of that. I get, one thing, let's stop texting as much. Let's pick up the phone and call,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I get that. But some things, the world is moving and it's not going to stop turning just because we say, I'm not ready, or
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not going to do that. That's fine. You don't have to do that. But guess what? While the world is turning and we way over here, you still gonna be back here waiting on things to turn back this way, and it's not.
It's not.
So you just have to take that leap into it. I'm not saying you got to be get into gaming or programming, or
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
TikTok not your thing or IG not your thing. I get it, but you have to start learning some of these things.
Right, right.
And the way it's moving with, prompt engineering and all of these different things, we have to get into it. We
Mm-hmm.
have to get into it. It's really no way around that. So that's just where we are now, and people don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the younger age, they're so stuck in their ways. Even though they're younger, of course, they know everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they hear some of it, but it's getting them out of that mode of, oh, it's cute. Oh, it's my favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that. Oh, let's put a Z instead of an S. That type of stuff. And it's like,
Right.
so it's that type of thing. So you get a little bit on both sides.
I hear you said a few things that I actually want to come back to, because the fear of the digital, we got to dig deeper into that. But I do want to pause and ask you. This is a question that I ask everybody that comes onto the podcast, and it is, what is midlife to you? I mean, we're talking digital. We dove right in with a big fear. Some people are triggered by this digital space, but go back and let's pull that back for you. What is midlife for you right now?
Oh Lord, these bones be cracking. I know that wasn't a question.
Is real. Is real.
That is real. Is seeing things and going through things that you thought you probably wouldn't go through right now. And it's not so much as a midlife crisis. So I wouldn't even use the word crisis on it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just that midlife thing that happened, for me is, you know, being in a marriage for 30 years, then getting divorced, right? And it's like, now?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
After
yeah.
all this, really? Now? Um,
You found your groove after what, a decade?
and then you sit and think, man, I done done this my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
But, when that reality sink in, and part of that reality start to come in, again, like I said, the world is not going to stop moving.
Mm-hmm.
Them bills still hitting that mailbox.
Yeah.
It's still hitting
Yeah.
that mailbox. But you look at that and be like, okay, well, let me get up, shake this off, and hey, let me go do what I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just getting in that space and really seeing where you are
Mm-hmm.
in that moment, and whatever that is, do it. You have no choice. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like midlife is where you've hit a stride, or when did the business savvy click in for you? I mean, has it always been there, or was there a point where you hit a crossroads and said, "Okay, I need to dive all the way in here"?
I think it's always kind of been there, and I dibble, I dabbled, I done all these different things. Like I said earlier, rebranding. Hey, come up with this. I think my very first one was Assistance and Beyond. Did that, had the logo, all that different thing, and however many years that lasted, then I
That was
rebranded to
what,
something
virtual
else.
assistants?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
and I did something else, kind of just kept hitting, and even with like now I'm here with Savvy. Um, that name kind of stuck because I was always gadgety. I was always tech, and everybody that knows me knows
Mhm.
Melissa Gadgets, Melissa Tech.
Mhm.
And, people would call me and ask me, hey, Melissa, I need your help to do this. I need your help to do this. I'm like, wait, what? Why y'all keep calling me?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So why not?
Yeah.
It kind of came, with that. And even like now with the branding piece, that just came because the way that I sit, talk with people, and listen to their ideas. Well, okay, well, why don't you go do this? And I pretty much just lay out a plan
Mhm.
just in a conversation. And by me doing that, it was like, oh, okay, can you do my PR? I'm not PR. Wait, hold on. And it was like,
Mhm.
well, yeah, sure, you just did blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess I did.
Yeah.
So
So you had moments when you tried to put yourself in a box.
I did. I
And those
did.
people are like, but wait a second, I still need you to do
Uh
X, Y,
huh.
Z. And you're like, but I'm not that. Oh, wait, I did do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, everything, it's you, the rebrand, you call it rebrand, and I'm calling it the pivot. So you embody the pivot
Mm-hmm.
over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't wait to 50. You
Mm-hmm.
pivoted a few times,
Mm-hmm.
pirouetted in that pivot.
Sometime I did the pirouette, fell, and sitting there looking like what?
Right,
But
right.
I mean, hey,
Any
yeah,
regrets with all the pivots?
no,
Okay, okay.
mm-mm, no, mm-mm. I just wish it was started a little earlier, but hey,
Really?
mm-hmm,
Okay. Tell me
yeah.
about that.
Well, when I say start earlier, it's like me really sitting in that space and accepting what it is, and not
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't want to do that. I want to
Mm-hmm.
do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's sitting in that space of what comes natural to you
Yeah.
instead of this comes natural to me as well, and I like this better.
Mm-hmm.
But more conversations happen over here. So, and that's with like the branding PR piece. And this is another thing a lot of people say, well, okay, branding marketing. No, branding and marketing is different.
Yeah, please break that down.
It's too
Break that down.
okay.
Because, and I'm in this digital space, I'm still learning. And
Uh-huh.
I tell people, whether it's on the podcast or any place else, I tell them, y'all are witnessing my learning journey in real time.
Yeah.
So when I sit across from people that
Mhm.
are experts, that have done it, or even if all you are is 5 feet ahead of me, you know a little bit. And,
Mhm.
and and I'm listening. So as I ask questions, I'm truly asking as a student.
Mhm.
And I get to be the learner in the room while you just tell me about the
Mhm.
wisdom and the experience that you've endured.
Mhm.
And then it it I absorb it. Number one, it's entertainment because we're here, we get to broadcast it to
Yeah.
everybody. But I take every conversation and I go back and I tinker. And so
I do the same. Yeah.
yeah. So with you saying, like what you say, 5%, 7% of your
Mhm.
clients are over 50, that breaks my heart. That really does. But I also get it because we're at that age where we start to get stuck in who we are.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So I'm sorry. Tell me
Mm-mm.
about the
You go.
difference between branding and
Okay.
marketing.
Branding is you. Who are you?
Hmm.
What is your business, right? Why do I care? Right? Marketing is I have this thing I'm marketing to you, I'm promoting it to you. I'm giving, this is why.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
now I'm marketing my brand.
Hmm.
Um, So you're doing that piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're branding, first, who are you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who are you? So that's why you hear personal brand. What is your brand? So your personal brand is just like, you with this show,
Mm-hmm.
your branding. Your branding is here. You've said why you have this show. You are that melanated midlife, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but now when you market it, now you're out there, hey, tune into my show this time, blah, 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 all of those different things. So now you're marketing your show, you're promoting your show
Yeah.
and put those things out there. So when you do your promotion, your commercials, all these different things, you're putting that out there. Even
Yeah.
when you have merch, that's promoting, that's marketing it because you're putting that name out there for
Mm.
those different things, right?
Yeah.
So that's why with branding, even if you have a business, do you really truly understand what the core of your business is?
Mm.
So, prime example, COVID happened. How many people was able, all right, let's shift. We're gonna do this, this, this. We
Let's
can't do this right
change.
now.
Let's pivot.
And you had some people that's like, oh shit, what do we do?
We close the doors.
What do
we're,
we do?
we're done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you truly don't understand what that core is, how can you truly shift, right?
Yeah.
And pivot.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. And speaking of, I think about COVID and
Mm-hmm.
how, brick and mortar businesses had to suddenly figure out what to do
Yeah.
and shift
Mm-hmm.
digitally. We're seeing that in the job market
Yeah.
across the board where things that I'll call them the analog processes,
Mm-hmm.
where all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm fearful that AI is going to come in and take my job, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm fearful that everything is moving too fast and I can't learn and
Mm-hmm.
do. I mean, us over 50, is it too late for us?
Nah.
What are we doing wrong right now that we need to start shifting to keep up with the job market with the demands?
Get out of your own way. it's it's that
Mm-hmm.
simple, but at the same time, it's not for so many.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not for so many. So it's getting out of our own way and just I'm 50, I'm too old to change. I'm too old to do this different, or I've done this for 30 years. I don't want to do this. We got to get out of that because the world is taking a major shift.
Yeah.
It's not even gradual. It's just, it's going. And we just got to get with it. If
Mm-hmm.
we don't, we're going to fall off. And unfortunately, the world that we're in right now, with everything else that's going on from our leader, it's like, what, what do we do, right?
Right, right.
So, but it's that's why we have to start making that shift because now you really, really do have to start trying to make your own lane.
Mm.
So if that is um, writing a book or doing workshops, doing webinars, whatever that is. I mean,
Mm.
hey, you should do you another brand, Melanated Midlife Webinars.
Hey, okay, y'all don't steal my idea.
I'm
Melissa is
I'm just
feeding me some
I'm
new
just
ideas.
saying. I'm just saying. So
Okay, we gonna talk about that.
to get them over that line, I just thought I'd throw that
Okay, okay, okay. I did want to ask you because you mentioned earlier, and I don't know if we were recording or if this was off camera or whatever. And you said the one thing that we need to start skilling ourselves up on was what?
out there.
Period.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to think about it and ease us into okay. AI is what we got to
Mm-hmm.
start doing. Okay.
Because that's what the world is right now.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of people out there um, giving you tips on all the different prompts. They're giving you tips on the plethora of systems that's
Mm-hmm.
out there that's AI. But what really works for you is a lot bigger than ChatGPT. It's a lot bigger than that. And being able to utilize that, whether you're working for a company, working for yourself, whatever it is, we need to start understanding what prompt engineering is and really getting into that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just to write stuff, but the way that you could use AI to help analyze data without taking, a week to go through, I don't know, however many spreadsheets and documentation, all these different things,
Mm-hmm.
uploading those things and being able to take that summary and
Mm-hmm.
pick apart that summary to understand what is the bottom line. What is the bottom line? How do we need to put together this project, or what do we need to do, with these things? How many people we need to bring on? What skills do we need on this project to fix whatever that solution is? And not only that, with AI, if you are a copywriter, graphic designer, it- whatever you are, AI is in a place now because now people don't want to pay as much because it used to take you um, 3 days to put together something, opposed to
Mm-hmm.
now if you use AI, that you could probably still charge the same amount of money, but they're getting it quicker. I'm more off to pay because I'm getting a quicker result, opposed to it take
Mm.
you that long to do it and I still got to pay you what, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's being realistic. I'm not saying you should use AI just to quickly go through things,
Mm-hmm.
but be smart about what that is and understand what platform that is, what AI platform that is. Digital transformation is big. That's just where it is. And that's the last 4 books that I did. Is about that, implementing AI, digital transformation, making sure that you are implementing those things in what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're $1 billion company or you're only $100,000 a year company. It does not matter. You need to start implementing those things into what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not only that, the word that gets out. And when I was doing my magazine, that's international. That was seen in over 30 countries
Mm.
with the magazine because I was online.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does print cost a lot more,
Yeah.
but because I was online and on those
An
platforms.
entire industry that shifted to
Right.
digital.
It
Yeah.
just went to digital because now I'm going to Google it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what I can find. Or I'm going to put in certain keywords to see what come up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. Same thing with the podcast. That was international as well. So
Mm.
it's really putting it out there, knowing what platforms to be on, and not only that, engaging on them platforms. Look at your analytics, see where you are, see what's happening. If people are responding, respond back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it's nothing but to say thank you,
Mm-hmm.
or just to say hi,
Yeah.
respond back with those, people that are engaging. And just, it's like, just really see what's out there. Stay on the internet, that the digital streets, that's what I'm calling them. The
In these
digital
digital
streets.
streets.
We in the digital streets.
Yes.
So that's where you need to be
Uh-huh.
to do that. And when that book come out, it's not done. It's not out yet. I'm sitting on it. But
Oh,
when that book
book
come
book
out,
book number 9.
no, that's book number 8.
Oh, book
No,
okay.
no, I'm sorry.
She,
That is 9. That is 9.
see, she
I'm
done
sorry.
lost count, y'all. How embarrassing to have written so many books that you lose count. That's like being so wealthy. Oh, I forgot how much money I have. That's all right. I ain't mad
I
at
would like
you.
that problem. That problem I would love to have in my melanated midlife.
There you go. There you go.
How much is in that bank account?
Oh,
I had that
see,
much?
that is a flex. That is a flex.
No, that is not a flex. That's like, I wish it was. That is not a flex.
But let me ask you. I mean, when you talking about these digital streets, I totally agree with you. But I mean, let's say plain, I'm not plain old, but just everyday Joe Jane found themselves at whatever point in their career, 20 years
Mm-hmm.
in for whatever role that they're doing. And they wake up and realize, okay, things are changing. I need to figure something out. I need a way to keep up. How do we tiptoe into those digital streets? If I'm just me on my own
Mm-hmm.
trying to upskill myself, where should I start?
That's hard to really say generally because everybody is somewhere different.
Mm.
What I would say, what I would say is to really figure that out is I would do an assessment. I would put out an assessment,
Mm-hmm.
have people to give me that, and once I look at that, when we are on, the melanated midlife webinar, then I can tackle those individual things.
I feel attacked.
And with those individual things, your midlife can start to be eased into wherever that next step is.
I like that. Okay. Y'all, I have totally been just throat punched.
I'm just, saying, so that way we can assist with that midlife
Yeah.
of wherever that may be and help you tiptoe into.
I hear you. I'm not mad at you because I mean you're right because I'm thinking about the whole point of being here. When we sat down, I said, starting this whole podcast was to encourage the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that we at this age, we think we're supposed to have it all figured out. We think we're supposed to be at a certain point of success or a certain point in our career. And I wanted to, number one, normalize the uncomfortable,
Yeah.
the things that we say, whispering to our friends when we just don't want to say it loud. I'm like, that is the conversation that I want to have here is that you are in this place. You have been stuck in this place
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to pivot. It's
Mm-hmm.
time to try something different, new perspective or
Yeah.
whatever. And everything that you say, it sounds like, okay, that's cool for Melissa. She got it all figured out. But
Mm-hmm.
you had to learn as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
You had to try something for the first time, and then
Mm-hmm.
it evolved into the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, "But Melissa, we need you to do this." Okay, it's going to evolve into that next thing, and that is where we are. We have a certain amount of time on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we hit 50,
We think we're like we done it. We
Yeah,
got it. We don't have
yeah.
to do nothing different.
no, we the window. And I don't want to make anybody think that the window is closing, but it really is. We have so much time, and it's like, why not try something
Yeah.
different?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, you think you're in that space and along from, like I said, personal stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
seeing where the world is going, seeing where the business is and where I want it to go,
Mm-hmm.
I pull back
Yeah.
because as a business owner, we got to stay on social media. We got to do content. But I got to be consistent. All of these things, yes, it's true, but sometimes we got to just pull back and get out of that content, and reevaluate what am I putting out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Am I just doing content or am I really putting out what people wanting to know?
Yeah.
And content is about answering those questions. If your content is not answering those questions,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're putting that content out, and sometimes I don't need to hear you, answering me all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which means you're putting out too much content. So
Mm.
I didn't ask you that, so I don't need to be answered all the time. But
Yeah.
I do want to be able to go and find a resource to say, okay, yeah, let me go look for
Yeah.
X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But on the other end, as you're putting out content, that's why we have to go back and say, what are people asking?
Mm-hmm.
What research are you doing? What tools are you using to help you understand what people are asking on the internet?
Mm-hmm.
There's tools available for that, and there's a process to do that. And knowing that, and sometimes we got to just sit back and let me just watch.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just be quiet, be still,
Yeah.
and watch. And when you be still and you watch, you start to see certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see certain things, oh, okay, let me go do this.
I like that.
So when you pull back on my wall, like I said, in my office at home, I got sticky notes all over the wall, right? I have, I got the big, large, colorful sticky notes. They're on the wall with my notes and my marker writing. And with that, sometimes I just turn my chair around and I just stare at the wall.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just looking at my notes, looking at my notes.
And these notes are goals. These are to-do items. What
They're
is
not,
it?
it's a mixture.
Mm.
And see, that's the other thing too. When people do that, it's like they're writing goals, goals, goals.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to accomplish that goal? What do you have in your arsenal to accomplish that goal? And that arsenal, not just tools on the internet or a
Mm-hmm.
camera or whatever. That arsenal could be skills.
Okay.
What do you need to unlearn and relearn.
A lot.
So that's the thing too. And actually, in this book right here, we talk
Mm-hmm.
a lot about that
Mm-hmm.
unlearning and relearning because we have learned so many things over the years, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff change.
Yeah.
The world changed, technology changed, all these different things changed. So we need to unlearn what we have learned and relearn
Op-
something else.
Open up
And
some
in
space.
that, on all of these notes, some are goals, some are skills that I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
some are notes. And the mixture of all of that, like I may have on this wall over here a funnel of where I need to go. And in that funnel, I drew out a little funnel: awareness, consideration, convert, and loyal. So within that funnel,
Mm-hmm.
what am I placing in those spaces, right? Now I have another one under awareness. What is awareness? What do I want to make people aware of? What are they asking? What do they want to know the answer to? Figure that out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's not like a day overnight thing.
Right.
These stickers have been on my wall for probably like 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Okay.
So it's a process. And then after I go through so many different things, and now I'm able to bring some of those stickies in, make my notes, or plug it into AI. Hey, this is my note on XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
How can I really dive a little deeper to do XYZ? And like you say, it's not a blank page. It's helping me to go quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me the idea, you know what? No, instead of doing this, I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just started putting stuff together, writing out, and created my own SOP. You don't have to be $1 billion company to have an SOP.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you make $5,000 in your business, create you an SOP. What
Yeah.
is your map? That's your map,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? So it's taking those, and that's what's on those sticky notes. We gotta understand, one, what a true brain dump is. A lot of people don't really understand what a true brain dump is.
Oh.
And you can't do, a lot of times you can't do a dump by yourself. You got to have people to probe at you to help pull those things out as you're dumping.
Okay.
And dump does not make sense. Dump sometimes is jargon. It's just jumble. It's just words. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make sense at all. But after you dump, you clearing out, right? And once you clear out, now you can start, okay, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What are people asking? What do they want to know? Do your research, do your keyword search, all of these different things. And once you figure out all that stuff, now you can start bringing some of the things together. Now your dump is gonna start coming together.
Okay. So I'm hearing you, and I'm thinking about my own processes,
Mm-hmm.
and the sticky notes got me because I am that person.
Yeah.
But I have to do that to clear space in my
Mm-hmm.
mind. My
Mm-hmm.
creative mind goes into overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
and I truly just have to get it off of my brain
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere. And a
Yeah.
sticky note is easiest because it doesn't make sense yet.
Yeah.
It's just an isolated thought, an isolated
Mm-hmm.
idea. I've got to write it down. And like you said, it either goes on the wall or it goes on the desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, after I've had more time with the ideation, I'll come back and I'll see all of these thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
ideas. And it's like, being on the Matrix with
Mm-hmm.
Neo, and you suddenly see the code coming
Yep.
together. And you're just like, oh, I get it. This is now where I need to put the energy. This is how I make sense of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels better knowing that somebody else is
Mm-hmm.
telling
And
me
a
this.
trick is, a lot of time we don't want to put stuff on our walls because we want to mess them up.
Mm-hmm.
And that sticky note is gonna stay up so long before it falls. Use painter's tape and tape it up on the wall.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And see, for me, I'm like, if it's been up on the wall and it's falling down, I see that as like you should get your button gear and do something
No, because I
about
mean
that thing.
that stuff on the sticky note is not made to stick to paint or
Uh-huh.
anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So use painter's tape, and I just tear a little piece and put it on the corners to put it up
Mm-hmm.
there. So the whole painter's tape is not going to mess your wall up.
Okay. So, average midlife person that is watching this, they're hearing you and they're just like, okay, it sounds like I need to get my button gear. I've
Yeah.
got some things that I
Mm-hmm.
need to consider about
Mm-hmm.
what the next phase is, my talents, where am I,
Yeah.
possibly funneling those talents. I want you to give probably your best piece of advice for those folks that are just hearing you and they're inspired to get off their excuses and start doing something different.
exactly what you just said. It's that simple, really.
Mm-hmm.
It is that simple. Even if it's knocking on the door, and that knocking on the door could be DMing somebody, reaching out to who that person is.
Mm-hmm.
I need help.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I was doing, XYZ. I'm on this in this group. It was a mastermind group where we kind of went start going accountability in a way. And we were just on that this past Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys, he went to a workshop and went through a lot of stuff. And he said, I didn't realize I was pretending. I wasn't doing crap.
Oh, that's
Right?
honest. That is
Yeah.
honest.
Because as they start, whatever, happened in this workshop, they went through a lot of stuff. And of course, he's taking his notes and doing all these things. He wasn't doing what he thought he should have been doing. He was like, I was pretending. I wasn't really doing. When we think we're like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm getting it done, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we're not.
And see, I've had to come to that not his
Yeah.
exact reality, but that whole busyness.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to get out of that where
Yeah.
it's so, and I actually sent a group text within my family just this past week because I said I've had months of busyness
Mm-hmm.
and didn't feel like I was moving. And suddenly had a moment of clarity where some things started clicking into place and months worth of work started coming together within a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see it initially, but that was the thing is that I felt so frustrated with the busyness. And like him, he said he was pretending.
Yeah.
And me, I felt like I was treading water and drowning and all the things. And it started to click into place all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean everything's going to work out.
No,
I just had that
right.
one moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just where we are. And when we get that clarity, sometimes we don't know what to do with it. And that's okay. Even if you don't know who to ask, where to go to, or how to even get started,
Mm-hmm.
ask that question. Who can I ask? Because even the person you're going to may not know either.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get with them and they may say, you know what, let me check with such and such.
Mm-hmm.
They might, if they don't know, they could probably direct me to
Yeah.
this person. Or you don't know who knows who. That
That's
still
a biggie. That's
that's
a
still
biggie.
today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that will never get old. You don't know who knows who.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things.
What after everything that you've been through, personal life, professional life, business, what has surprised you most at this season in life? What is it about midlife? You've had success. You've had a lot that you've put out into the world, a lot of knowledge that you've shared. But what has just at 50 plus, what has shocked you, saddened you, excited you about this whole season for yourself?
Oh, wow. What has really shocked me is the visual that, well, I won't say visual, but what others have seen in me and that I'm doing, right?
Really? Okay.
Because it's, same thing. You don't know who's watching or listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're putting out certain things, even though you are responding, you are answering, but when you start to get certain, recognition or accolades, or even just how you introduced me earlier, it's like, I'm like, what?
Who is that?
What?
Who else is covered?
Yeah, what? So it's, those things that, people see that I won't say that I take light of or think that, oh, it ain't that big of a deal what, you may do. Because anything that we do, whatever business you're in, it comes either easy to you, or even if it is a little struggle or challenge, you know how to figure it out, or you could see in it enough to make it
Mm-hmm.
do what needs to happen. And I'm not saying make it do what needs to happen, like putting a Band-Aid on it. You actually have the solution
Mm-hmm.
to do what it is. So, that is, kind of a shocker for me and confirmation in a way, by hearing It comes from certain people, certain things. And then when you just sit back and really look at some of the stuff that you've done, because over time, time go and we're just doing stuff, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I've made a habit where I made my own media kit where I literally put everything up. The one I sent you the link to,
Mm-hmm.
literally every single thing in, not only to remind me of stuff, but just even when you go back and look at it, like, oh, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did do that. So it's just really looking back at certain things because sometimes we sit in a place where it's like, I'm not moving. I'm not where I need to be. I haven't done nothing or I haven't done enough or, whatever. And you go through that. And when you go back and look at those type of things, it's like, oh, I did a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
I did a few things. All right. You know,
We don't
so
stop and celebrate those
we
successes.
don't because we're looking for that huge payday or that huge stage, right? That we're looking on. And one thing that shifted my thought process on some things. Um, the lady that I was connected with, the Ion, she moved to New York now, but she came to an event that I did, and she actually was a speaker. And within her talk, you know how we say, okay, you're enough, right? Don't worry about you enough.
Mm,
You're enough, right?
yeah.
She was like, I hate that term. And everybody was like, what? Yeah. And when she started to explain it, it made so much sense. She said, because if you enough, what else do you have to do?
There's no
So
more growth.
there's no more growth.
Oh, I
So
see it.
you're not enough. And I was like, well, hell.
Yeah. That's just like the statement's never satisfied.
Right.
That fires me up to say,
Yeah.
I'm never satisfied. Am I happy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I want to stop and say, okay,
Hmm.
yeah, girl, you did that,
Yeah.
but I'm not satisfied. I'm not a finished product.
And that's where it's like when I hear people now say, you're enough. Just know that you're enough. I'm like,
Hmm.
and I can't really say, without explaining, I'm like,
You want to say maybe for you?
because that has just been, that's one of them things that just kind of been branded in our head, right?
Yeah.
You are enough. Don't take lie to
Hmm.
yourself, celebrate yourself. You are enough. No, if I'm enough, that means that I'm done. I've done enough.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
I was like, all right, I never say that again.
You completely flipped that for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in our melanated midlife
Yeah.
of saying you are enough, you're not enough.
Because you're still growing.
You're still growing, you're still learning, and you're still living.
Mm.
So no, you're not enough.
Oh, okay. Reverend has blessed us with a word. I like that. I like that. Okay, so that actually is a very good place for us to kind of wrap it up because I could go on and just listen and take notes. But I don't even have my pad with me to write this stuff because I'm so old fashioned. I got to take notes on every doggone thing. But
Yes, you do. You got a pad right here.
I know,
Digital.
but
It's digital.
I'm on the one screen and it's blown up so I can
Okay.
see it. You see, very slick.
Slid them off.
I slid them off my face because I got my text
Mhm.
blown.
Look, that's okay. That
know,
is
I know.
okay.
But I do hope that everything that you've said, I mean, there are some things I know good and well. There are people that are listening to this that have already shrunk back into their corners. Like, okay, she's talking that digital stuff that is not for me, whatever. But
Mhm.
I want to bring those people back in. I want to invite them in
Mhm.
because it is. Number one, this is a safe space. So if you do have a question, by the way, for Melissa, you have a comment about anything that she's mentioned in the course of this conversation that you just need clarity on, I want them to add a comment and just say, hey,
Mhm.
what did you mean by this? Send me a DM and I'll forward it to her
Mhm.
because the whole point is for us to make sure that those of us over 50, we understand that there's still an opportunity to jump on the train.
Mhm.
The train hadn't fully left the station yet.
It's leaving.
It's easy.
It's leaving.
They're making final call.
Yeah.
So this digital
Mhm.
age is not going away.
No, it's not.
And it is still time for you to jump in here and learn some new
Mhm.
things. And so when people want to, do that, I mean, number one, I will link to all your, God dog it, how many books did we say? we gonna link.
I will make sure you have the link.
We will link to this one in particular because this is specifically the digital era that we're talking about. So we'll link to this book.
All four of them are.
Oh
It's
shoot,
talking about the digital era, AI.
y'all heard me say it was a flex.
I have no, no, and the thing about when I was doing these books, it was in the midst of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept going. I finished. I was like, oh wait,
I got more to
oh
say.
wait.
You were not enough in that moment.
I was not enough in that moment. So yeah.
So I want people to go and purchase the books. I want them to learn more about this. If they do have comments, we'll make sure that Melissa addresses them and that we'll have all that in the show notes. But if people want to get in touch with you, how do they reach out and have a conversation with you?
I am on Instagram and TikTok at Savvy Mag Biz, SAVVYMAGBIZ. On LinkedIn, Melissa Ambers. And you can shoot an email, Melissa at smginc.biz.
Awesome. Awesome. I am positive that there is more to be able to talk about, and we probably need to continue the conversation at some point. So I am very appreciative of you being here.
Thank you so much.
This was a minor download of everything that we could have talked about, but but you did it justice. So we are better for it.
Well, thank you.
All righty. Okay, so everybody, like I said, we will link all of this information for Melissa in the show notes. I will also link to her social media. So, depending on where you live, whatever you're comfortable with, we're going to ease you into the conversation. But the other thing, I do want you to share this episode with somebody that you saw them in this conversation. Oh, my so and so, or my this, they need to hear about this digital era. I want you to forward this to somebody that needs to hear this message. And then be sure to like and subscribe for yourself so that you will get notified anytime a new episode drops. Okay? So, with that, we will say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. However, you found us, we are so happy that you spent time with us today. And that is all, folks.